Chapter 4 Coping with Adversity. On Friday, the 28th of Av, events seemed to take a turn for the better. The long awaited ransom payment finally arrived, and I was released from prison. There was more good news. The imperial government reversed its decision regarding the burning of my Sfarim, requiring only the deletion of a few words they considered offensive to the Christian faith to be replaced by other terms such as idol worshippers or kusim, which clearly do not refer to Christians. As far as the title of my work, Ma'adanei Melech, was concerned, no one in the government had ever thought of it as being offensive. It was the slanderers who were trying to denounce me who thought this up as a cover-up for their evil schemes. Regrettably, however, the decree forbidding me to serve in the rabbinate was not repealed. And so, after spending 40 days in prison, I was a free man again, free but penniless. Who had brought about my misfortune? I felt a compelling urge to find out his identity. After an exhaustive investigation, I discovered that my nemesis was an important official in the imperial government in Vienna. I confronted the man on Som Gedalia 1629 and told him of the anguish and distress he had caused me. I did not come here to ask you to repay me the vast amount of money I have lost, I said. I only request of you that you use your influence to have me reinstated as chief rabbi of Prague. I can assure you that it was not my intention to cause you any monetary loss, he replied. I admit I was instrumental in bringing about your dismissal. I'll be frank with you, I did so because I wanted to get even with you. I was told that you bragged to the viceroy in Prague how you got the better of me in our debates when you were still the rabbi of Vienna. Let me prove to you, I answered, that what you were told was nothing but barefaced lies and falsehood. It was a well-known fact that when I left Vienna, escorted by a large entourage of Jews and Gentiles, including military guards, who will all readily testify that this occurred before the Passover festival, and at that time the Viceroy of Prague had already been dead and buried for several months. So you see, I never even met the Viceroy, much less boasted to him. Listening to me, his attitude underwent a complete change, and sheepishly he said, "I'm terribly sorry, but there's nothing I can do to have you readmitted to the rabbinate. Why don't you try to find a temporary job somewhere which will allow you to observe your religion and serve the Lord? Feel free to call on me at any time. I'll do whatever I can for you. Remember, you're always welcome in my house." I cannot earn a living any other way, I answered. You see, since early childhood I have been training to be a rabbi. I have no other profession. Listen, he retorted, there are many different regions in the empire with Jewish communities. Take Germany, for example. It won't be difficult to find a position as rabbi there. Please understand, I said, a poor man like me with a heavy debt to pay cannot make ends meet on the salary of a small-town rabbi. Rising from his seat, he said with a shrug, well, just be patient. Nodding, I turned and left, arriving in Prague on the eve of Yom Kippur, 1629, stripped of honor and possessions, deeply depressed and filled with anxiety. I became seriously ill and remained bedridden for about 3 months. And now, dear children, let me tell you something that will hearten you. Going through my manuscripts of chidushim and commentaries, I came upon a paper on which I had recorded remarks I heard from the illustrious Rabbi Pinchas Horowitz of Krakow, which he made on one of his visits to Prague. This is what Rabbi Pinchas said. Tradition has it that once, during the time of the book burnings, the government decreed that on the 5th of Tammuz, all Sfarim were to be destroyed by fire. The sages of that time sought divine guidance by interpreting a dream. They elicited the following cryptic dream response: Zos chukos haTorah ketargumo, meaning that this is the decree of the Torah according to the Aramaic translation of Targum Onkelos. It so happened that the Torah portion of that week was chukas. The sages arrived at the following interpretations. Targum Onkelos renders the above phrase as da gezeras oraisa, whereby the numerical value of da amounts to 5, daled being 4 and aleph being 1. I applied this interpretation to my own case. I was arrested because of my Sfarim on the 17th of Tammuz, and I was released on the 28th of Av, 40 days later, exactly the same number of days that the Jews were in divine disfavor after making the golden calf. I therefore decree a fast on the 5th day of Tammuz to be observed by my children and grandchildren until the coming of Mashiach, the fast to last until after Mariv. If the 5th of Tammuz falls on Shabbos, the fast is deferred to Sunday and should end after Mincha. Anyone feeling faint, pregnant women, or nursing mothers can redeem the fast by giving no less than the equivalent of 6 Viennese guilders to tzedakah. I was in doubt whether to establish a day of feasting on the 28th of Av, the day I was released, as many people are wont to do on the day they escape the death sentence. However, considering that I remained only with a shirt on my back, stripped of all my former glory, and laden with heavy debts, I found myself in a quandary. Just as I was pondering my problem, I came across a sefer entitled Yosef Lekach, a commentary on Megillas Esther by Rabbi Eliezer Ashkenazi. In the introduction, the author wonders why the Chashmonaim did not institute a day of feasting to commemorate the miraculous victory of the few over the many in the days of Hanukkah. This miracle surpassed by far the miracle of Purim, which is celebrated with rejoicing and feasting. He answers by stating that in the days of the Chashmonaim, the joy was dampened by the numerous casualties they had suffered. Similarly, my joy is also mixed with tears and will not be complete until Hashem restores me to my previous station.